Parliament House is the meeting place of the Parliament of Australia, located in Canberra, the capital of Australia. The building was designed by Giurgola Thorp Architects and opened on May 9, 1988 by Elizabeth II, Queen of Australia. It cost more than $1.1 billion Australian dollars to build. Federal Parliament meetings were first held in Melbourne until 1927. Between 1927 and 1988, the Parliament of Australia met in the Provisional Parliament House, which is now known as Old Parliament House. Construction of Australia's permanent Parliament House was delayed while its location was debated. Construction of the new building began in 1981. The principal design of the structure is based on the shape of two boomerangs and is topped by an 81-metre flagpole. Parliament House contains 4,700 rooms, and many areas are open to the public. The main foyer contains a marble staircase and leads to the Great Hall, which has a large tapestry on display. The House of Representatives chamber is decorated green, while the Senate chamber has a red color scheme. Between the two chambers is the Members' Hall, which has a water feature and is not open to the public. The Ministerial Wing houses the office of the Prime Minister and other ministers. Before the establishment of Canberra. In 1901, when the 6 British colonies in Australia federated to form the Commonwealth of Australia, Melbourne and Sydney were the two largest cities in the country, but the long history of rivalry between them meant that neither could become the national capital. Section 125 of the Constitution of Australia therefore provided that the seat of government of the Commonwealth shall be determined by the Parliament, and shall be within territory which shall have been granted to or acquired by the Commonwealth, and shall be vested in and belong to the Commonwealth, and shall be in the state of New South Wales, and be distant not less than 100 miles from Sydney. Such territory shall contain an area of not less than 100 square miles, and such portion thereof as shall consist of Crown lands shall be granted to the Commonwealth without any payment therefor. The Parliament shall sit at Melbourne until it meted the seat of government. In 1909, after much argument, the Parliament decided that the new capital would be in the southern part of New South Wales, on the site which is now Canberra. The Commonwealth acquired control over the land in 1911, but World War I intervened, and nothing was done for some years to build the city. Federal Parliament did not leave Melbourne until 1927. In the meantime, the Australian Parliament met in the 19th-century edifice of Parliament House, Melbourne, while the Victorian State Parliament met in the nearby Royal Exhibition Building for 26 years. Old Parliament House equals. After World War I, the Federal Capital Advisory Committee was established to prepare Canberra to be the seat of government, including the construction of a Parliament House. The committee decided that it would be best to erect a provisional building, to serve for a predicted 50 years until a new, permanent house could be built. In the event, Old Parliament House was Parliament's home for 61 years. In the last decade of its use as a parliament, the building had a chronic shortage of available space. New Parliament House. In 1978, the Fraser government decided to proceed with a new building on Capitol Hill, and the Parliament House Construction Authority was created. A two-stage competition was announced, for which the authority consulted the Royal Australian Institute of Architects and, together with the National Capital Development Commission, made available to competitors a brief and competition documents. The design competition drew 329 entries from 29 countries. The competition winner was the Philadelphia-based architectural firm of Giurgola, with the on-site work directed by the Italian-born architect Romualdo Giurgola, with a design which involved burying most of the building under Capitol Hill, and capping the edifice with an enormous spire topped by a large Australian flag. The four-section adders, however, included deliberate imitation of some of the patterns of the old Parliament House, so that there is a slight resemblance despite the massive difference of scale. Giurgola placed an emphasis on the visual aesthetics of the building by using landscape architect Peter G. Rowland to direct civil engineers, a reversal of the traditional roles in Australia. Rowland played a pivotal role in the design, development and coordination of all surface elements including pool design, paving, conceptual lighting and artwork locations. Horticultural experts from the Australian National Botanic Gardens and a government nursery were consulted on plant selection. Permanent irrigation has been limited to only the more formal areas. Construction began in 1981, and the house was intended to be ready by Australia Day, January 26, 1988, the 200th anniversary of European settlement in Australia. It was expected to cost $220 million Australian dollars. Neither the deadline nor the budget was met. The building was finally opened by Queen Elizabeth II on May 9, 1988, the anniversary of the opening of both the first federal parliament in Melbourne on May 9, 1901 by the Duke of Cornwall and York, and of the Provisional Parliament House in Canberra on May 9, 1927 by the Duke of York. The flag flown from the 81 metres flagpole is 12.8 by 6.4 m, about the size of half a tennis court. The flagpole weighs 250 tons and is made of polished stainless steel from Wollongong. It was designed to be the pinnacle of Parliament House and is an easily recognisable symbol of national government. It is visible by day from outside and inside Parliament House and floodlit at night. The flag itself weighs approximately 15 kilograms. The site covers 80 acres. The building was designed to sit above Old Parliament House when seen from a distance. The building is 4 metres higher than the original height of the hill. About 1 million cubic metres of rock had to be excavated from the site. It was used to fill low-lying areas in the city. Most of the granite used was sourced from Australia. Twice the amount needed was quarried as a very high standard of granite was required, particularly for the curved walls. It was proposed originally to demolish Old Parliament House so that there would be an uninterrupted vista from the new Parliament House to Lake Burley Griffin and the Australian War Memorial, but there were successful representations for preservation of the historic building, which now houses a parliamentary museum. The original idea was for Parliament House to be open freely to the public, and the sweeping lawns leading up to the entrances were intended to symbolise this. The building is a major visitor attraction in Canberra with about 1 million visits each year. With the increased risk of terrorist attacks in recent years, the security of Parliament House has been increased greatly. One result has been the construction of crash barriers blocking vehicular access to the lawns. Layout equals. The public entrance to Parliament House opens into a main foyer leading into the Great Hall, which features a tapestry based on a painting by Arthur Boyd, the original of which is also displayed in the building. Functions that have parliamentary and federal relevance often take place here, but the Great Hall is also open to functions for the general public, such as weddings, and the nearby University of Canberra hosts graduation ceremonies here. Below the tapestry of the Great Hall is a removable division which opens onto the Members' Hall, which has a water feature at its centre. This is an area restricted to security classified occupants of the building and special visitors. Directly ahead of the Members' Hall is the Ministerial Wing, housing the office suites of the Prime Minister and government ministers. The Members' Hall has access to the House of Representatives and the Senate buildings to the left and right of the main entrance to the halls respectively. Public access to the visitors' galleries and the main committee room is via an upper level reached by impressive marble staircases ascending from the entrance foyer. There are also 19 committee rooms which are open to the public and a highly secure cabinet room on the ground floor. House of Representatives. In commemoration of the colour scheme of the British House of Commons, the House of Representatives is decorated in green. However, the colour is muted to suggest the colour of eucalyptus leaves, or the Australian bush. From the perspective of the image, the press gallery is ahead, with public galleries containing 388 seats to the left and right. Soundproofed galleries for school groups are directly above these, as no talking is permitted when the House members are present. Front bench members approach the table with the ornate box, known as the dispatch box, to speak. Backbenchers have a microphone on their desk, and merely stand to speak, in accordance with Standing Order 60. Also on the table is a copy of Handsidden where the clerk and deputy clerk sit. The clerk needs to know all the rules of Parliament and is responsible for ringing the bells during a division. In front of the clerk are the hourglasses. The outer glasses measure 4 minutes and the middle glass measures 2. These glasses are turned when there is a division. One of the 4-minute glasses is turned and the bells will ring and the clocks will flash green for the House of Representatives or red for the Senate for 4 minutes. After the hourglass stops, the House's attendants will lock the doors and the whips will count the votes. Members vote by either moving to the government side of the House for a vote for a bill or the opposition side for a vote against a bill. If there is a division soon after another division, the middle hourglass will be turned and the bells will ring for 2 minutes. As is the custom with Westminster parliaments, members of the governing party sit to the Speaker's right, and the opposition sits to the Speaker's left. Independents and minor parties sit on the cross benches. The long benches closest to the dispatch boxes are reserved for the cabinet on the government side and the shadow cabinet on the opposition side. Senate. The Senate building matches the colour scheme of the House of Lords, decorated in red, but muted to tints of ochre, suggesting the earth and the colours of the outback. The gallery arrangement is almost identical to that of the House of Representatives. Unlike the House of Representatives, only the leader of the government or opposition in the Senate approaches the lectern. Other front bench senators and all backbench senators have a desk microphone. As can be seen from the illustrations, unlike the House of Representatives, there is no distinction between the front and back benches in the Senate chamber. Senate ministers and their opposition counterparts have the same 2-seat benches as all other senators. The press gallery is located above the Senate chamber. The presiding officer of the Australian Senate is the President of the Senate, who occupies a position in the Senate chamber similar to that of the Speaker of the House of Representatives. Behind the seat of the President of the Senate are 2 large seats which are modern versions of thrones. The larger is used by the Governor-General or the monarch when they open Parliament at the start of a new parliamentary session. The vice-regal consort or the royal consort sits in the smaller throne. Art collection. The Parliament House art collection of over 6,000 works includes commissioned portraits of every Prime Minister, Governor-General, President of the Senate and Speaker of the House, as well as other works of art significant to Australia. Solar Power Project. In 2011, the Department of Parliamentary Services commissioned a pilot 43.3 kilowatts photovoltaic system on the roof of Parliament House in Canberra. The system is split between 2 locations, with 192 panels installed on the Senate wing with the remaining 42 panels on the roof of the Gardeners compound. The panels cover an approximate area of 470 square meters. At the time of construction, the system was one of the largest installed for solar power in Australia. According to the Department of Parliamentary Services, the system was switched on in June 2011 and has performed as expected by providing enough power for lighting in both the House of Representatives and the Senate. This equates to an approximate saving of $9,000 which is expected to rise to $17,000 annually. The system received an award from the Clean Energy Council in 2012 for best design and installation of a Grid Connect power system greater than 10 kilowatts. See also: Australian landmarks, Government of Australia. References. Books, letters, articles, websites. Parliament House Construction Authority. Australia's new Parliament House. Barton, ACT. The Authority pages 85 pp. ISBN 0-642-09999-5. Loviel, David W. Ian McAllister. William Maley. Chandran Quakathas. The Australian Political System. South Melbourne, Addison Wesley Longman Australia Proprietary Limited pages 950. ISBN 0-582-81027-2. Cannon, Michael. Australia Spirit of a Nation. South Melbourne, Curriu Ross Proprietary Limited. ISBN 0-85902-210-2. Charlton, Ken. Rodney Garnett. Shibuduka. Federal Capital Architecture Canberra 1911–1939. Canberra, Australia, National Trust of Australia. ISBN 0-9788541-0-2. Old Parliament House Canberra. Retrieved October 8, 2007. Parliament House Canberra. Retrieved October 8, 2007. Canberra Australia's Culture Portal. Retrieved October 8, 2007. The Parliament of Australia, a Bibliography. Indiana University 2005. Retrieved August 12, 2008. External links, Parliament of Australia, Old Parliament House /image trail from Picture Australia. This Australian ABC page gives an account of the new Parliament House. Australian Explorer Parliament House tourism site. Todi Solar Parliament House Solar Power Case Study, Silex Systems Press Release, Australian Parliament House project page.